All right, fellas, so as we did with the last video, as you can tell, we are summing this one up here back at the shop after we're unloaded and everything. So we went into Sunday on a really fresh track after everything got washed off Saturday. So we came up, we were the first in the ET class to run. So as I said before, I decided to jump out of 770 because I just wasn't going to be able to make the truck consistent, slowing it down that much without getting some revisions from Ryan to try to take power out of this truck. So we ended up jumping into ET bracket so that way I could set it on my 670 tune, have it dialed in for that, and just run it out the back end and everything, just stay happy. So because of the rain, they, like I said before, pushed the event back to Sunday. And when we came in Sunday, we were on a completely fresh track. We were the first pair to go down on the ET class, and I'm not exactly sure what happened, but the truck decided to get all kinds of stupid on me, as you'll see. So what we ended up doing, we ended up with a 0.65 reaction time. So reaction time right on par with where we were last night. It was a slow 176/60 foot because we were a little bit sideways going through to 60. And we ended up running, it was a 7.0 at 102. So of course the truck slowed down because we didn't really move off the starting line for a split second. So anyways, I knew the time wasn't going to be the best, but I went ahead and ran out the backside anyways, just for the heck of it. Like I said, reaction time was where it needed to be. I don't really know if it was an issue with the track or what, but we went back to the pits after making that first pass. We tightened up the compression on the rear shocks a couple clicks just to try to keep it from transferring as fast. Because looking at the video, it looked like the tires didn't start spinning until the weight got all the way back, and it's like it unloaded the front tires again, and then the truck just went haywire. So we added a couple clicks in the back, and we also dropped some air out of all four tires. It was a little bit warmer Sunday, and I hadn't checked the air pressure that day. Normally the air pressure stays where it's going to be all the time. And normally I have them at about 29 in the rear, 25 in the front. And after it got stupid on me, I checked the pressure and it was at like 35 in the back and 30 in the front. The only thing I can figure is the heat of the day. So we went ahead and dropped the air down. I did 25 in the rear, 20 in the front. Made a pretty big change, but after the way it acted, I knew it was going to need something to put the power down going into the second round. So because I was being on a time crunch Sunday, they decided to take away the second qualifying round. They just did one qualifying round straight into eliminations. So going into eliminations, I didn't have a great pass to begin with, so I knew I'd possibly have to be on the brakes at the top end. So we were just going to kind of wing it and see how we ran against whoever it was we lined up against. So we lined up against a Ford Ranger. It was a 6-liter swap Ford Ranger, and the truck's pretty stout. I believe, let's see, his dial-in was 650. So we had my dial-in at 670, his at 650. So I was going to leave just a split second before him. After talking to the guy afterwards, apparently he had some issues with the truck. He wasn't getting it to spool or whatever. But I ended up on the converter for a hot minute, and was kind of frustrating. And I ended up getting a little bit antsy and did my normal and knocked myself out in the first round. So I red lit. I saw as soon as I launched, the light turned red, but I said, you know what? It's the last pass I'm going to get of the day. So went ahead and ran out the backside anyways, and we went a 680 flat at 103. So truck, yet again, performing like it should, just driver error as always. So a little bit unfortunate, but in the end, it is what it is. I wasn't too terribly upset because of the outcome from Friday night, so this was just kind of a bonus if I'd have made it rounds today. So after I got knocked out, I figured that'd be a good thing in a way. I'd be able to jump in and help the other guys since they were going rounds. Trey ended up getting knocked out early. Brent, he had an amazing run, went 671 in the first round, but unfortunately was running Skylar, and Skylar ran a 670 flat and just barely edged him out at the top end. And so Brent was knocked out first round eliminations as well. But in the end, I mean, his reaction time was good. His pass was great. It's just that Skylar made a unbelievable pass. So it was amazing. It was a really good race to watch. Also, Matt Santjer, he ended up making it all the way into the finals of 670 with the BMW, his first event that he's ever raced ODSS with that car in 670, and he made it all the way to the finals. In fact, I believe it's the fastest diesel BMW that there is right now, and he brought it out, and at his first ODSS event made it to the finals. So congrats to him. The car was running awesome, and I'm sure you'll see him on here more in the future as well. That car is amazing, and so is his truck, and so is the things that he's doing to innovate and progress the sport. But I'd have to say probably the story of the day was Buddy. He ended up, as I said the other night, Friday night he went #1 qualifier with a 590 and a 1. First round qualifying, he actually went, I believe it was a 576 or 573, which to my knowledge is his best time yet. And that's with the truck having some issues and also turning off 1 kid of nitrous. So he went his best time on less power than he normally runs. So that was a little bit impressive. Also, as you saw in some of the videos, the truck is actually lifting the front tire off the ground on the launch. It's not from a wobble. It's not from the chassis unsettling or doing anything crazy. The truck is just transferring so hard to the back, it's actually picking one of the front tires up off the ground a couple inches. So the truck is putting it down and is hauling the mail through the back end. he ended up making it all the way through into the finals and actually won the event against Chad Keeter. So it was awesome in the finals. We had 2 local guys at an ODSS event and made it to the finals in one of the most competitive classes that there is in ODSS right now. And not only that, but Buddy with the Dumpster Performance Duramax was able to pull out the win on a truck that he's got less money tied up in the whole truck than most of these guys have tied up in their fuel system alone. Anyways, that was awesome to watch. I believe at the end of the day, Stainless Diesel took the win in Pro Street. And again, I got to give a huge shout out to those guys. They brought that spare boot out to me to get the truck back going. They were real good guys to meet up with. And the first time I met them in person, and they're awesome people. If you ever need anything from them in the future, I would not hesitate to do business with them. Also, I believe the finals in Pro Mod came down to Ben Shaddy and Fire Pump with the S10. And Ben Shaddy pulled out the win. The Fire Pump crowd seemed to struggle all weekend. But I believe this is the first time they've been back on a big slick since last year at the Hardway race, I believe is what I heard. So trying to get the truck switched back over from a radial tire to a slick kind of gave him a little bit of trouble this weekend. But in the end, as I said, Ben Shaddy was able to pull out the win in his Corvette. And the last person I guess I hadn't really talked about yet is Nathan. So this is the first ODSS event Nathan's ever been able to race with. First event he's ever raced that truck in. As you recall to the Truck Wars video, we threw some worn out spare clutches and drum out of one of my cores in his transmission on the trailer at Truck Wars, got it back in, and he went out and ran 6s. He hasn't messed with the transmission at all. He has done no data logging, no anything. He went out and ran 770 this weekend. He actually made it a couple rounds in, which is really, really good for, if any of you guys have ever ran at an ODSS event, the competition is pretty stout, especially when you get up to like 770 class and up in 590, 670. Those classes are really competitive. And for him to be able to make it a couple rounds says a lot. That's good. The truck's got a lot of potential. And going into later in the year, I expect to see some good things out of that truck, hopefully. And actually, after this weekend, I can say we ended it on a positive note. You know, not only did we win Friday night, all the boys had a great weekend. Nobody broke anything. Buddy pulled out a win. Brent just had an unfortunate run that first round, but he would have definitely been a competitor in that class. Trey has the 6-liter dialed in for 592. So I expect to see him making rounds this year. Really the only issues that we found this weekend that we're gonna have to work on with the mega cab, notice the truck is still trying to run hot pulling the trailer when I'm accelerating. When I'm cruising, it's fine. And I'm pretty sure I've narrowed it down to it's the fan clutch. So I'm gonna do another fan clutch swap, just different truck this time, and it should be good to go. For the crew cab truck here, the dad bod, the truck performed great, didn't push any coolant, we didn't lose anything, everything seems fine. We're gonna go back and recheck all the torque and valve lash on everything one more time. It should be good to go though. We also noticed Sunday when I got to the track, I was looking and the truck seems to be leaning to the driver's side. And I can't seem to pick it up in videos to do it any justice to what it looks like in person. But the truck is leaning a decent little bit to the driver's side. We got looking and found that the leaf spring bushings are actually blown out on the back side of the leaf spring on the driver's side. So I don't know if that happened on the way to the track and I just didn't notice it Friday night, or if it happened when I went haywire on that first launch. But anyways, we're gonna have to do a little bit of repair there, but that's nothing major. Take a torch and burn them out. We'll press some new ones in. We'll be good to go there. The other thing that I'm gonna try to work on before Hollyrock and possibly the XTP Truck Mania event, if we can make that, plan on putting a staging limiter on this truck. So I'm gonna talk with Ryan, see about getting one of those wired in, and see if I can get some consistent launches out of this truck. And also, it's one less thing to worry about. Any of you guys that's tried staging with a big single, it's like all or nothing. This truck, it takes me about 4 or 5 seconds to get up on boost. But the issue is when I get to about 15 to 18 pounds of boost, it goes from there to 35 or 40 in literally a split second. And that's why you see me chopping the throttle sometimes when I'm trying to get the truck staged. It's not that it's pushing through brakes or anything like that. The issue is that it's shooting up on boost and I'm trying not to burn everything up. So I'm trying to get it just dialed in smooth, and a staging limiter should really be able to help me out with that. So I'm gonna give that a shot and see if we can't get that done before the next event we make. But anyways, like I said, overall it was a great event. It was a great time. Really no complaints whatsoever. Like I said, a couple small things to work on, but other than that, it's really just an oil change and load up to go to the next event. So really happy with how the truck performed. I'm really excited with the way all the rest of the guys did. Also really excited, as you see, there's see if I can get it in the camera, daggone autofocus. See, there's a couple boxes back here. So a few things showed up for us when we got back from Rudy's. So I'll do a real short video, show what we got here. But really excited about this, man. It's awesome. Y'all are gonna like that, I hope. And like I said, you know, it was overall a really exciting weekend. It turned out great. Everything with the trucks went great. Everybody else's trucks ran awesome. I really just got to give a huge shout out to everybody that helps me out with this truck, man. Nathan's been here for me the last few times I've worked on it to give me a hand. Trevor's always here. I really appreciate those guys' help. Appreciate Tim, Chris, the guys up at TRE. Those guys are amazing. They always help me with mainly transmission stuff, and then any of the oddball questions I may have about really anything. They're a huge help. Matt Santjer with Santjer Performance. Not only does he make the best input shaft on the market, but he's probably the smartest person I've ever met. So he, any oddball questions I might have about stuff, or when I need help with anything, he's there to answer any questions I might have. So I appreciate him as well. As I said earlier, Stainless Diesel, thank those guys for bringing me the boot out. And Trey, Dunright Fab, always helping me out. I cannot wait to get the race truck ready to go out and play with these boys in 590. And then last but definitely not least is the whole Dumpster Performance crew. This weekend was probably the most fun weekend I've ever had at a race. Between Brent running 670, I didn't mention this earlier, but Chris, he also was running in 670, and he broke the VP fuel-only record with going a 630 this weekend. So, you know, that was awesome, and we'll be seeing him in 590 soon, I'm sure. Buddy taking the win, Trey being in 590. Soon Trevor will be out there with us. I can't wait for the events to come this year. This year's looking like it's gonna line up to make up for everything that sucked about 2020. So, but anyways, like I said, just a little bit of coverage from the weekend and a little bit of a recap on how the hometown crowd did and how everything went for us this weekend. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Stick around. We'll have another video out hopefully in a few days to go over what's in these boxes. And then we're going to start doing a few repairs of these trucks, getting ready for our next event. So thank you guys again. See y'all next time.